All right, turning now to regional transit and the tax proposal we'll be voting on in a month. You know, the RTA has put forward a $4.6 billion proposal. A lot of business and other organizations have put their support behind it, saying coordinated transit is a much needed next step in the growth of Southeast Michigan. But there is opposition to the plan, saying we're already paying a lot for transit and this plan may not be progressive enough. All right, so we are a month out. And Stephen, let me start with you. Have the pro RTA and this transit plan, have they done enough to educate the public in terms of what we are actually going to be paying for, and that this is going to be a good, viable solution for regional transit?
I mean, the information is out there. It is available. You can just go to their website and look at the plan and see how much of the gap, how many of the gaps that we have in Metro Detroit now with transit are going to be filled by this plan. The selling of it, I think, is always difficult. I mean, we always see these really, in this case, you know, it's an institutional campaign. I mean, this is not just a fly-by-night effort, but not seeming to connect with individual people the way that you'd like them to, or
have they started advertising?
Voters. I don't know that there are ads out yet. I mean, I know that they're doing a lot of voter outreach, but I don't know that they're doing the mass campaign yet, and I don't know if that's going to. I don't know.
If it doesn't, I was going to say, if it hasn't started,
is there money for that? I don't know.
I don't know, but this is a hard sell. I mean, you could say the stuff's on the website and it's a compelling argument, but that's not how campaigns are run.
Well, sure.
Voters aren't going to go to the website. You're asking for a really big tax hike, and if you're not out there pitching and selling it big time.
It's not a big tax hike.
It's $1.2 million.
It's $120 on a house that's assessed at $100,000 a year. It's a very small tax increase.
It's not small for a lot of folks out there. It's a tax increase.
You have a house that's worth that, you can afford the $120 a year.
You've got to spend money to sell a tax increase. They don't sell themselves. And I don't see them doing it. I mean, we endorsed the thing last week, but we've got some we got some concerns about the plan. One of our big concerns is that it doesn't seem to look ahead at this rapidly emerging mobility future and say, what could we have done with Uber and Lyft to maybe make this a cheaper, more efficient, more personal system?
Well, it doesn't preclude any of that. It doesn't preclude any of that. I mean, this is a plan that will unfold over the next 5, maybe 6 years, and it'll fill gaps that exist now. People can't get from their homes to work. They can't get from their homes to school. Uber and Lyft are not going to fill those gaps today. There's nothing that prevents the RTA from turning to those alternatives and thinking about them in the future.
But if you go out and ask voters, the voters who are going to have to pass this, suburban voters, and say, what's in this for you, I think a lot of them would have a hard time answering it. There should be. I mean, if the idea is to create a comprehensive bus system, people who normally drive their cars to work ought to be comfortable getting on a bus. And you've got to make that argument to them. You've got to sell them on it, because this is a place where almost 90% of the residents don't ride a bus in the course of a year. It's a big selling job, and I don't see them making much progress.
No, it's a big selling job because it's more of a greater good selling job, and it's because you'll be paying for something that maybe you will not use as much as somebody else.
But you should be able to use it. You should want to use this system like they do in other cities.
You'll be able to.
And that's how you have to sell it. If you sell it as sort of an altruistic thing, it's not going to pass.
Well, it's not altruistic.
But if you said, Chrissy, you're going to be able to ride downtown, you know, on your daily commute, you can leave that car at home, not pay for parking. That's the message they got to bring. They got to make it relevant to the people who are paying for it.
And the truth is, the plan that they put together, which of course is not just a plan they sat in a room and came up with, it's a plan they came up with after going to all of these places in the region and talking to people.
And they got buy-in from people who came to public meetings and gave their suggestions.
If you look at the plan, I mean, the cross-county bus system that will be installed will allow people who live in Macomb and work in Oakland to ride a bus instead of driving across 696, which is a nightmare. The rapid bus lines that will come down Gratiot and Woodward and I think Grand River allow people in sort of the wings of the region to be able to do that. You'd be able to ride a rapid bus downtown for sporting events.
I agree with all that, but when are they going to sell it?
The criticisms of the plan are really weak because it is actually a really great plan, and it's getting us way further ahead than I thought we would get on the first try out of the box with the RTA. But I agree that we're not hearing enough of those arguments in the right places to convince voters.
And the major flaw of it remains that it's not a wholly consolidated
Well, and that's
system.
not the RTA's fault.
It's not. But if you take a voter who's already just passed the SMART increase last year, or somebody who's paying a high DDOT tax, and say you're going to pay another one, you've got to make a very compelling argument that
You gotta
this
show them
system's
there's
going
gonna
to
be better
work.
service.